Hello, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. That you may have seen the video that I posted very recently concerning the need for a prosthetic leg for a young Filipino, and I used it just as an example of the fact that with social media now, the plus side, the positive side of it is that you can reach across the other side of the world and find someone who might be interested in joining with you to do almost a limitless number of projects. Well, the letter that I got, and I made the point before I read the letter, I made the point there that what is commonly said is that you only need to contact the person you need to talk to is only 6 contacts away. So you go from Joe to Harry to Sid to Beryl, you go to all of these people, and eventually you will speak to the person that you need to speak to, whether you know them or not. You'll speak to them and be united by some element of your interest or your project or whatever. Well, my own plea on that was for information, to try to find someone who could educate me more on the aspects of a prosthetic leg. In the case for me, it was a prosthetic leg. Now, the first contact, I'd love to be able to pull up the other letter, which was a very educated letter, because the person that I wrote to had actually lost a leg from below the knee. This is a difference, below the knee, whereas the subject of my inquiries has lost a leg above the knee. Now that makes for a much more complicated prosthetic leg. But anyway, that first person was in America, and incredible things are available in America, but they cost money. And the main emphasis of his letter was discouraging, because it didn't allow for what I wanted to do could be done, and whenever anything like that happens, I plow on and I find the people that tell me that it can be done. So the first letter pointed out that what he had needed was a team of people, not only a team of people to make the leg, but to fit it and teach him to walk. That it was not a simple thing, and that the point that he made was that many actually get the leg and give up trying to walk on it because it's just not comfortable. It's painful, and it requires a great determination to walk again. And I did think about this because it's a young girl that I'm thinking to try, that at some point in the future, probably after Christmas now, when we get approved of our non-stock, non-profit status, so it probably will be after that when we can begin to raise funds, because right now we are not allowed, I always have to repeat this, it's a disclaimer, I'm not allowed to solicit for funds. So that's not, I was soliciting for information. Well, sure enough, after the first disappointing letter, in that, yes, everything, the point was, everything is possible, but it takes a great deal of money. And some of the quotes that this particular gentleman mentioned was 10 to 20,000 for a fairly simple below the knee prosthetic leg, to 60, or I think he mentioned $100,000 in order to have a leg that you can walk on. That would be high tech. It would be straight out of the Bionic Man movie. Okay, so anyway, here's the letter that I got, and I'm not going to mention the name. All right, it was an email, so if it's not a message in the comments, and we're not taking comments at the moment, I don't mention the name, but if at some other point the gentleman tells me it's okay, I'll be happy for my name to be mentioned. So anyway, hi Terence, I saw your YouTube video talking about the prosthetic you're trying to get for this girl. I have some experience in prosthetics, as I'm a medical engineer and work in a prosthetic lab part-time. I have co-founded an engineering and 3D printing company as well. We regularly print prosthetic arms and hands. If you have any questions or need assistance or 3D printing, feel free to respond to my message. All the best from Switzerland, Mr. D. Well, Mr. D, I wrote back to Mr. D, and let me see, what did I say? Good morning, Mr. D. Thank you for the responding regarding the prosthetic leg for the young girl from the orphanage. I know it is a difficult project as the young lady's leg is amputated above the knee. The problem is we are not allowed to post a video showing the story until we're approved, so that's all old news. I posted the video just to learn how to go about starting the project, so I will be grateful for any advice that you can give. How can I start to help her? Next, hi Terence, I understand that you have to wait to get approved for non-profit status, so we got that clear. But in the meantime, you could define more exactly what the goal is for the lady herself, the young girl herself. As you said, above the knee prosthetics are more complicated. Does she want to have a leg that looks like a real one, or is she just interested in walking? Now, the reason that Mr. D is asking this is because if he does, he's an engineer, as it transpires in the letter, and he does 3D printing. Now, 3D printing can give a blueprint for a leg that is so like the real thing that you really wouldn't believe it. Then the mechanics that go inside of this real leg, real looking leg, are extremely complicated, extremely high tech, and virtually bionic, virtually. In the case of hands, then it's pure science fiction. So, does she want a leg that looks like a real one, or is she just interested in walking? Big question. To define it, for example, 3D printing technology is sufficient. We would need more information on the young lady's legs. For example, height, weight, residual limb information, pictures and videos. Would you like her to get a mechanical knee? This would cost more than a stiff knee. Obviously, this is all important information. If you're starting a charity, I could design the knee on CAD for free. This is just such an incredible number, and this is only from meeting two. I'm only at number 2 on my 6 to meet the person that can make this happen. If you're starting a charity, I could design the knee on CAD for free, but we would need to find someone who would machine it for not too much money. As here in Switzerland, for less than $1,000, nobody starts their machine. Okay, so we could manufacture the knee in China, as the prices are quite good. If you don't plan to do the prosthetic yourself, you can also go to an orthopedic clinic, but they usually don't work for free. If you have any questions or would like to work together, you can write to me at any time. Mr. D, you can be assured that I will be in touch with you. But it just is interesting to know that by and this has always been the emphasis on our channel, is that we have brought together people who want to help, want to make a change, and just don't know how to go about it. And in our emphasis has been on trust, and the way that we've done that in the past, before we were ordered not to do any more welfare work, that's the point at the moment, until we get approved. We've been told, can you just hold? And that's what we've been doing. But there are people who would help on something like this. In the past, we've had tremendous help from people who want nothing more than to see the project done. So that was the basis upon which we did all of our houses that we have made for people who would never be able to have achieved a house. Very simple. They're simple, modest houses that we made. But anyway, that was then. Now we are not allowed to ask for donations. So we're not doing any of those projects right now. We hope to resume soon, and it's all a matter of, it's the government, so it's hurry up and wait. But by putting out a request like this, we now have, I think we're be coming up very soon to 170,000 subscribers. And if you think about the power of 170,000 people, now the reality is that 170,000 people do not watch our videos every day. Okay, so we're quite aware of that. We're not in La La Land, and we judge. But we have many of our videos have over 1 million views. So over 1 million people have at some point or other had our videos shared and have looked and watched. And in the old days, before YouTube started in on the control of the comments, we had lots of comments too. So the input was great. Now, if in the case of Mr. D, you want to get in touch with me, you need to go on to email, which you can find at the end of every one of our videos. So here's a situation now where, for this young lady, let's call her Miss Philippines, okay, or Miss Taliban might be better, a little bit less grand. Let's say that she is Miss Taliban. Miss Taliban has had an accident and the knee has been amputated from above, so a little bit above where the knee is, that's where the amputation has taken place. So that means that there's still enough of the thigh to be able to anchor the new leg to, and I've watched a lot of videos where they've done this and showed the fitting of the leg and showed how the person can be trained to walk. Well, we'll probably be down to doing that ourselves, certainly helping her to walk, setting up parallel bars, and so that she can learn how to use this, what we would hope is a bionic leg. So all of that in the future. But right now, it's Mr. D and I who are now going to try to make something happen in the future. He understands that, and so should you, that this is a project in the future. We would like to, there are many things we'd like to do in the future. We'd like to build 1,000 houses. We'd like to open a school. We'd like to get a bionic prosthetic leg for Miss Taliban. And we're going to do that. And right now, meeting on internet, meeting people like Mr. D, who are able to machine things. You see, once it's been done on CAD, then it has to go on to a CNC router of a particular style, right? There are CNC routers which do all kinds of lettering, signs, and all kinds of stuff. And there are also powerful CNC routers which, as I said in my video, I actually watched one sculpting one of the Batmobiles, the Batmobile for one of the movies, and it was in there, and the machine was working, and this incredible vehicle was being sculpted in foam. And so all of these machines, these CNC routers, are all there, and they're able to do the most intricate sculpting. They have one which the trace has to come around, and it goes on the subject like this. Now, this is not the cutting blade, obviously, but what you have is, you have two. This one is the cutter, and this one is the scribe. And so what they do is they work in conjunction like this. And this one is working on a model in foam. And you have a perfect, an absolutely perfect replica of the face, say, in the face of a head, in the case of a head. So, really thrilled to have received this letter, and quite possibly Mr. D will know who he is, and he will see this before I've had chance to get any more information that I can share with him about our project, our Miss Taliban project. So this is for anybody that's looking in that feels like a nitpick. This is a humanitarian project in the future, for the future, and it will take quite a few months to get this all together, that's for sure. And that's what I was told in my first contact. Number one said that it had taken a long time and a great deal of determination, and I believe him. And because I went on after that, between the first and the second letters, I went on to YouTube. Now, if you have any doubt about the Bionic Man being real, just go on YouTube, type in prosthetic gymnast or something like that, gymnasts with prosthetic legs, and you will see kids who are only 7 and 8 years old with a leg amputated above the knee, and they are incredible gymnasts, just amazing. I mean, so inspirational. They tell you that you can do everything. Now, at the bottom end of, so you had the first letter, which is at the top end, and from, I admit, I give credit for the fact that he knew exactly what he was talking about from experience, and all of the high-end bionics in India, or was it Pakistan, either India or Pakistan, there's a company there which is set up more or less like a charity, and they've got cripples finding their way to their door, and they're making prosthetic legs out of soil pipe. We're talking about the 4-inch soil pipe, plastic tubing, and they're making a leg which will get the person who cannot walk because of an amputation and get them on their feet. They'll give them that extra foot. They'll give them a leg up, as my friend Michael said, that we would say in Manchester, from which we are both from, that we need a leg up. And that's what we're doing at the moment. So I've gone on a little bit longer than I thought, but thanks for watching, and I keep watching for this one because it's an interesting project that will show you if you are looking for some way to find out there, you're finding someone who you need information and help from, it's easier than you think, but you just need to put it out there. So let's see how this unfolds. And if you're interested and have information that will help, get in touch. Bye for now.